you have to act as if it's already yours. It's already here.
I love
And
that.
that's where that you don't have that space of lack. You're not living in that lack because
Mhm.
you already have the guy of your dreams.
So how do you act like you already have it? Like, are you saying like go and try on wedding dresses? The Life of Marin podcast is presented by MAAR Dating Club. MAAR Dating Club is a matchmaking service that represents New York City's most eligible singles. MAAR Dating Club works with professionals who don't have time or interest in dating apps, but still are genuinely ready to find love. We are a boutique firm that focuses on quality matches and guides and coaches our clients throughout the process. Use the link in the episode notes to book your introductory call today. Welcome back to Life of Marin podcast. Today I have Spirit Tiff. Welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. You have the best energy, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're amazing. So Tiff is a medium.
Mhm.
Can you tell us what does that mean?
So I'm glad that you asked because a lot of people don't know the difference between a spirit medium and a psychic.
Okay.
So a spirit medium is someone who communicates with people that have passed, past loved ones,
Okay.
friends, family, pets come through too.
Okay.
Whereas someone, they can also have the psychic ability, that high intuition.
Okay.
A psychic is someone that just connects with that clarity, that intuitive side, and
Mhm.
so forth. So the mediumship is where you connect with loved ones in spirit and have that psychic ability. And psychics are just
Are you both
connecting.
psychic
I
and
am.
a medium? So when
I
you're
am.
when you say you're psychic, you can tell what someone's future could be or will
But
be.
yes, and we all have free will, just to be
Okay.
clear. I
Yep.
do get a lot of people that will contact me about their love life
Mm.
or career advice or family advice and things like that, where they think, okay, I'm good with our loved ones in spirit, but I just need to know some clarity on my life and what it is that I need to be doing and if I
Okay.
had any insight. So I like to help people out with that.
That's really cool. And then how does all of this tie into astrology? And does it at all for you?
I love it. Well, because
Yeah.
it's kind of like the whole the whole kit and caboodle, I guess is what you
Yep.
would call it, is um yes, there can be there's certain behaviors of each sign that
Mhm.
could coincide with, that comes up in the reading,
Mhm.
certain like Aries, I'm an Aries, so I'm,
Okay.
I'm fire,
Oh,
right?
I
I'm
love that.
fire
Yep.
and dominating and authoritative and
Exciting.
exciting.
Yep.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. And then so I think that does come out in the, if I'm making sense at all, right?
No, you
Like,
are.
okay, all
Yep.
right. Because I find the people that enjoy maybe getting readings, they're also into what their horoscope is, or
Yep.
they want to know what their birth chart says. And,
Totally.
it just kind of goes hand in hand. It's like if you're open to it, then you're just open to it. And
Yep.
so I love having open-minded people in my vicinity.
Yep. No, that's really cool. I'm definitely woo woo. I like all of that stuff.
Yes.
So you're in the right spot today with me. What led you to becoming a medium?
Well, I always had the sense of knowing. And
Okay.
I can remember at a young age having a conversation with someone. And
Mhm.
as I was speaking to them, I would start to get visions in my mind. And I'm like, all right,
Wow.
Tiff, enough with the ADD. Just start focusing and really, pay
Okay.
attention. And then I became a Reiki master teacher, which is Japanese. It means energy life force. So
Okay.
I
And
wanted to,
isn't Reiki like healing? Sorry to cut you
yes.
off.
No,
Because
it's okay.
I actually am a Reiki person too.
Oh, I love
So
that.
in grad school, I took a Reiki healing class, not
Okay.
knowing what it was.
Yep.
And then in the middle of the class, they're like, okay, we're gonna attune you and
Yes.
make you so you're a Reiki healer. But
Yes.
I don't think that means I'm psychic. It just means
It's
it's
different.
two different things,
Yeah, it's two
right?
different things.
Okay.
It's just kind
Okay.
of like part of the whole
Yep.
woo woo, as people
Yes,
call
the whole
it, you know?
realm. Hmm.
It's the realm of it. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly, exactly.
Okay.
So I became a Reiki master teacher like back in 2008. So
Okay.
so basically I'm Yoda. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean
So
you kind of are, to be honest. I've seen all your videos.
no, thanks. But yeah, so I started doing that and I took a class in mediumship. And after that one class, that's how I was able to identify everything, all the visions that I was getting, everything that I was
Mm,
seeing and understanding
okay.
ended up being spirits
Hmm.
connecting. So
Okay.
once I figured that out, it was like, all right, this is what I know. This is my calling. This is my sole purpose. This is nothing felt more clear to me at my life at that time
Then to
than
do
to
this.
do this.
Okay.
Yes, and I quit my full time job, and I thought, well, if it doesn't work, I can always get another job.
Of course. Yep.
And I quit my full time job in 11 years ago and became a full time spirit medium.
So what kind of people do you do readings for?
Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody, because everybody goes through grief.
Mm,
Even
mhm.
if it isn't a physical passing,
Yep.
it could be a loss of a job or a loss of a relationship. That's
Mhm.
still grief. Heartbreak
Yep.
is grief. right? So when I give readings to people, they'll reach out to me, but I've read people from famous celebrities
Mhm.
to lawyers to people that work on Wall Street. There really is, or someone who's a stay-at-home mom, like
Yep.
all areas, all ranges. It's really what the world consists of living and death and that cycle.
Yeah.
You know,
That's really interesting. And can you read people who speak different languages
yes,
than English? Because I was wondering that. I'm like, what if you channeled somebody and they only spoke Spanish?
right.
Do you hear words or like what does the vision consist of?
So I usually hear words, but
Okay.
I speak English.
Mhm.
That's my primary language.
Yep.
And so a lot of times they'll communicate. So I always say when you connect with spirit,
Mhm.
they have a universal language. So even if you had a grandmother that was from Portugal, and spoke Portuguese, I'd
Mhm.
still be able to connect with her because she might show me, uh, maybe not speak so much, but she might show me like a dish that she made and I would describe the dish, or she may
Okay.
show,
Yeah.
certain descriptions. And that's because animals come through too.
That's so
So
crazy.
I bring animals
Yeah.
through, and when the animals come through, that's how they show me. They show me, because they don't have a voice, so they just show me descriptions of
Mhm.
of things, like maybe their favorite bed or a park they
Aw,
used to go to or
that's so
what they
cute.
looked like,
Yep. Yep.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Do you ever get afraid of channeling bad spirits, or has that ever happened?
So I do a lot of stuff with paranormal stuff. I used to be the
Mm.
medium for the Conjuring House, which is one of the most haunted locations, and
Whoa.
I did stuff at Lizzie Borden's house and so forth. So I love that kind of stuff. However,
Mhm.
I don't dabble in the dark energy, and something that I would do, just like, okay, so we're in New York City right now.
Okay.
And as you're walking in the streets of New York City, I'm sure there's some people where you might look at them and say, huh, I'll make eye contact and say hi. And then
Mm.
there's some people where you're like, should I cross the street
To get away from
to
them.
get away from
Yep.
them? You pick up
Totally.
on the energy.
Yep.
So when I open myself up like that, I set my intentions for my highest and greatest good. And
Mm.
just, I call him my dad who's in spirit. And I can always call him Archangel Michael, who's like
Okay.
the leader of all the angels,
Yeah.
all
Yep.
the good, because I only want to connect with that light and love type of energy and not that
Yeah.
negative energy, because there's always light and dark.
Yeah. I'm not gonna stay on like the dark stuff,
No, it's
but I do
okay.
have a few more questions and then we'll
Mhm.
go into
Yeah,
love.
absolutely.
So what do you think about Ouija boards? Like should like a normal person
Mhm.
use a Ouija board or is that like a little dangerous?
So the Ouija board was originally originated for a dating game.
Oh,
So there's a painter, Norman Rockwell, who actually did,
okay.
he does a lot of like American history type of paintings, and
Mhm.
and so he actually one of his paintings is of the Ouija board, of kids playing with the Ouija board,
Oh,
or it might have been
interesting.
like it's a dating. It was considered a dating game, and the reason being is because you
Mhm.
sit with your knees touched
Okay.
together and you put the board on your lap, and a
So
lot
it's
of
supposed to like connect you like through the
yes, and it's
vibes and
like,
the
"Are we
pheromones.
dating?"
Yeah.
and so forth.
That's kind of cool.
However, like, it actually, I think it was 1967, it beat out Monopoly as, like, the number 1 board game, and
Oh.
then not until, and it was on I Love Lucy, but
Mhm.
not until I think the '70s, it was on a show called The Waltons, where it got a negative tone to it, and then it was in The Exorcist, which
Mm.
is a horror movie, and
Yep.
so that, it just started to continue to have that negative tone, and
Okay.
so that's where it started to get that negative vibe to it, but originally, it was set to be a dating game.
Okay.
That's a fun fact for you on this
No,
podcast,
that is actually so relevant. But would you say don't use it? Or do you have any recommendations to listeners?
What I would say,
Yeah.
when you're doing anything with energy, you always wanna keep your energy clean.
Okay.
So if you're putting your intentions for your
Mm.
highest and
Yep.
greatest self,
Mhm.
that's the energy that's going to be connecting to you.
Okay.
That's the energy you're gonna be
So it's
attracting.
all about your intention and what you're
Correct.
putting out there.
Correct.
Okay. That's cool to know. Have you ever seen a ghost?
Um, I have experienced paranormal activity, absolutely.
Does it
So
scare
I've
you?
seen, no, not anymore.
Sorry, you can tell I get
No, it's
scared.
okay,
Yeah.
it's
I'm like,
okay.
how do
Well,
you
I
feel?
I feel like I live in a haunted house. I live in
Mm.
Boston. It was built in
Okay.
1910,
Yep.
and, I've actually had a paranormal team come to my house and
Wow.
and do recordings and so forth, and
Mhm.
they've caught people talking, footsteps. I've woken up to doors slamming at my house, but for whatever reason, and maybe it's just because I have this, like, feeling that it's not a scary thing, it's
Mhm.
just something we may not understand completely. Um, I'm not scared.
Okay.
I'm not scared of it. But yeah, I have experienced, like, not at my house, but I've seen out of the corner of my eye people, um, as in ghosts. I've
Mhm.
heard ghosts when nobody's been around.
Ugh.
One of the most haunted locations, though, that I've been to was a house that was only 6 years old, but it was all about the land that it was on.
Oh, that's
Hmm.
interesting. So it's not necessarily the house.
Right,
Okay.
right. Although
Because
sometimes, if it is a particular location,
mhm.
especially if there was a lot of tragedy and so forth,
Okay.
it could hold that residual energy.
Energy is very interesting, and
It is.
I do believe in energy because I feel like when you walk into a room, if people are talking about something really negative, like,
Uh
you
huh.
can feel the tension in the air,
Yeah.
and if it's, like, a really joyous space, like, you can also feel, like, the levity, and so
Yeah.
I'm like, "There's clearly something going on." What do you believe happens after you die?
I feel that we are energy. So even
Mhm,
though our body gives out, because our body is our vehicle and
mhm,
we try our best to take care of it, but our body's our vehicle. Once that vehicle runs out of steam, our energy continues on.
okay.
Yeah.
I like
So I,
that.
I don't feel like we're trapped somewhere. I think that's a
Mhm,
lot of Hollywood talking
okay.
where we have our loved ones that could be trapped. I think a lot of people bring that fear with getting a reading. And I'm like, they're
Mhm,
not trapped. They're just here with us, but they're not in that physical presence. So if you have a loved one in spirit, they could be with you while
mhm.
they could be with another family member in a different state
That's cool.
because there's no body, it's energy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just it can spread out.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so let's talk about love a little bit. So, how does being a spiritual medium impact your love life specifically? Like, is it hard to explain to potential dates? Like, how do you kind of navigate all of that?
Well, you know what? I've been doing this for a little while now.
Yeah. And
And
it's like on your social media.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
So I try not to I am who I am and I can't picture myself
Yep.
doing anything else but being a spirit medium. Like I said before,
Totally.
it's my sole purpose. And I guess the person that I would be with, they don't necessarily have to be, it's okay to be a healthy skeptic,
Mhm.
but I would want them to at least be open.
Okay.
Just be open.
Yep.
And I find that the people that I have dated,
Mhm.
you'll get the guys that are like, "Oh, cool. Who's behind me? You're a medium. Who's dead around me?" Like
Yeah.
literally, they'll say that, and that's like such a ick
Defense
feeling. Yeah, I'm
mechanism.
like,
Yep.
ooh. Um, but if they have a firm understanding
Mm.
of it,
Yep.
and they just treat it with respect as they
Yeah.
would respect me,
Yep.
because that's what it is
That's the
respect.
baseline.
It's the baseline.
Yep.
That's all.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have a hard time with it.
Okay.
So to answer your question,
Well,
easy.
in like I'm a very spiritual person
Mhm.
and my boyfriend like loves that I'm very spiritual and he's like teach me and he's very open-minded to it
Love that.
and he's respectful like even if he doesn't believe everything I do, he's at least like kind and respectful,
Yeah.
which is like the bare minimum.
I love that. It's
Yeah,
true
it's
though.
like
It's true. Yeah.
yeah, like the standards are on the floor. Like he
Yeah.
goes above and beyond, but like the bare
Yeah.
minimum is that someone's, kind and respectful to you.
That's all we need.
But do you ever have like because I always talk about like a woman's intuition, gut feelings in
Mhm.
dating. Do you feel like you just have gut feelings and intuition on steroids? Or do you go through like a similar process, like where you kind of have to learn hard lessons sometimes?
Oh yeah, hard
Mm-hmm.
lessons definitely because even
Yep.
though I'm a spirit medium, I'm a human first.
Yeah.
And so if you came to me and said, Tiff, tell me about my love life, I would say, you know what? Boom, boom, boom. And I'd be able to be so black and white with
Yep.
information.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to myself, sometimes my ego gets in the way
I can,
because
yeah.
I want, but it may not be the right fit for me
Yep. Yeah.
so I want it. Or in my mind, I see them as their true potential without their ego.
Mm.
And I'm like,
And
of
not what they
course.
actually are.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That happens a lot with people.
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
does. It does. And it's like I see the best in them.
Mm-hmm.
But
How can people who are dating like increase their intuition?
your body always knows the answer.
Okay. Say more.
Okay.
I
So
love that.
yeah, your
Yeah.
body always knows.
Mhm.
And it's that gut feeling that we
Mhm.
get.
Yep.
It's the gut feeling when you're like, uh, okay, this is weird. But maybe it's because he was busy and he couldn't call me back.
Yep.
Maybe it's because he said his phone died. Or me, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we want to see the best in someone.
Mm.
But like deep down in your gut.
What the answer is.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think nobody likes the wrong answer. Or not the wrong
True.
answer, but nobody
Mhm.
wants to feel crappy.
Yep.
Nobody wants to get that like uncomfortable feeling in their gut where
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, I kind of feel like something's wrong." Because it's hard, and that's where we go on our like life journey and our life lessons to truly love ourselves.
Mhm.
Because what I will tell you, when you fully captivate holding yourself accountable for doing your healing work
Mhm.
and loving yourself to its full capacity, because we're going to continue to evolve,
Mhm.
we just raise a vibration to ourselves and then we attract what we are vibrating. So people will, for instance, I've done readings on people where they're like, well, I just don't
Mhm.
know about my boyfriend, and the backstory will be, well, I don't have a place to live and I lost my job, but I
Mm.
just want my boyfriend, and I'm like, well, why don't we focus in on getting you up to
Mhm.
par and
Yep.
you taking care of you
Yourself first.
yourself
Yep.
first,
And then they'll
and then you'll attract the person that is meant for
that
you.
you're supposed to be with.
Right, because you never wanna live in that feeling of lack.
Okay.
And s like, sometimes we'll say, "Well, we need a partner." No, we don't need a partner. We
Mhm.
we want a partner. We want a companion. Who doesn't, right?
Yeah,
Who
I
doesn't?
agree.
So it's if you're filling your cup and
Mhm.
loving yourself and just radiating
Yep.
and not living in the "I need that"
Okay.
relationship.
Do you do any coaching around, like, manifesting and, like, how to manifest love, or is
I
that not
talk about it a lot. I do talk
okay.
about it a lot,
How do
and
you believe is the best way to manifest?
I would write down a list of 5 to 10. 10 might be a lot, but
Mhm.
if you're gonna go, go for it.
Yep.
But write down 10 things that you require in a partner. All
Mhm.
right. Don't just say tall, dark, and handsome,
Okay.
because you can say, "Oh, I want someone who's tall, dark, and handsome," and he can be a cheater, or he could be so insecure and jealous, or
Mm.
like ugly on the inside.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
so you want someone who is honest, respectful,
Mhm.
loyal, someone who's family oriented, someone who has friends.
Yep.
That's a big thing.
Yeah. You sound
Um,
like me. Like, I say this all day, every day. I'm like, "Who cares if he's hot, if he's an asshole?" Like, what are
right.
you can't build a life with an asshole. I'm
E-
sorry, you just can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when you write down those
Mhm.
5 to 10 things,
Yep.
right? Write them down, guys, on a piece of paper, and then connect that emotion to that.
Okay.
If you are with somebody who respects you, how
Mm.
does that make you feel?
Yep.
Supported, loved, grateful,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So you connect that emotion to
Mhm.
that item that you wrote down.
Okay.
Okay. And then you need to picture yourself being in that full circle relationship of all those items that you said,
Mhm.
and maybe it is, maybe you do have like, they have to have blue eyes because I only like blue eyes guys. Maybe, I'm not saying that's me. I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general, like some people have things where they have to be this as non-negotiables. Fine.
Mm.
If you
Okay.
need to put down something physical, which it doesn't really matter, but if you need to, then
Yeah.
fine, do it.
I agree.
And have that in that, like that fantasy of the manifestation that you are creating. Because when we
Mm.
talk about manifesting, you have to act as if it's already yours. It's already here.
I love
And
that.
that's where that you don't have that space of lack. You're not living in that lack because
Mhm.
you already have the guy of your dreams.
So how do you act like you already have it? Like, are you saying, like, go and try on wedding dresses? I remember when I was trying to manifest my boyfriend, I cleared a space in my closet.
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm making room for someone to enter my
Love
life.
it.
And like, I did like little woo woo things because everything else like wasn't really working. And I'm like, I'm
Yes.
preparing fully. So like, are there any like tangible things you would recommend people do, or is it just like person by person?
Well, I'm going to hop on that bandwagon
Yep.
with you because
Mhm.
recently this summer,
Mm.
I went through a whole period because same, I'm manifesting
Yep.
a love. So I started decluttering my house of all my old clothes and things that I didn't fit into anymore.
Right. Yep.
Those,
Gotta get rid of it.
yeah, those
Mhm.
jeans where you're like, well, maybe the next month if I lose those 10
Yes.
pounds or whatever. And it's
Yep.
like, no, love yourself for who you are right now.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I
So
like that.
one piece of advice is start to declutter,
Mm.
you know,
Mhm.
start to like picture your guy having dinner with you, sitting next to you at, you know,
Mhm.
at, at your kitchen counter, or, sharing a drink with you, or picture yourself like go to those rom-coms, the
Yes.
movies, and like enjoy it, because again, that is the energy that you're going to be vibrating.
I do believe people are attracted to people who are actively enjoying their life. You can change
Right.
things in an instant if you do change your mindset.
And it's a little bit more focus on you.
Yes.
And I think it's hard. I'm gonna say it
Yeah.
because we're sitting here like focus on you, but I
Yes.
hate it. I
I know.
hate it when people say that to me, like
It's
just
annoying.
focus and it'll happen. I'm like, okay, but when? I need to know when.
I agree. Do you think, like, as a psychic, are you able to tell people when, or like how detailed can you get with like timelines and all of that?
I have told people when I've
Okay.
predicted pregnancies for
Oh,
people
cool.
or when they're going to get married. Okay, so one of my friends,
Yep.
she's a business owner, a
Mhm.
very successful business owner in Boston, and so her and I were talking, and I go, you know what? I'm going to tell you, you're going to meet someone like I don't know. I feel like his name's like going to be like Connor or Colin. Like I
Mm.
keep getting like that CO name. He's tall. He's around 6'2". I see him wearing he's like a lumberjack because I see him wearing like this plaid flannel. You're just
Mhm.
gonna meet him out.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, she met her boyfriend, Connor.
Oh my
Oh no,
gosh.
excuse me. Cameron, excuse me, Cameron. It was Cameron.
Okay.
Um, and that's what I meant, Cameron. I have another friend who got married to a Connor. Okay, never mind.
I feel like you do a lot of readings, and so you're
Right. I'm
probably
like,
like, "What's his name?"
wait.
Yeah, no, I get
But
that.
then I said,
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, and it was funny because I did give her a reading and her nana came through
Okay.
and started talking to her about it too. And I said,
Mm.
she's telling me you guys are going to move in by September. And then that following July, he's going to propose to you on the beach, second week. And she's
Whoa.
like, all right, whatever, Tiff. And this was like 2 years ago. So she, put that mental pin in
Yep.
and well, wouldn't you know?
It
They
happened?
moved in September last
Okay.
year, and then the second week, this past July, he proposed to her on the beach. And so she took a picture and sent it to me, and she goes, "Guess who was right about this whole relationship?" And
It was you.
it was me. I'm like, "Oh, who?"
Do
No,
you believe in soulmates?
yes,
Tell me more.
yes. So I feel like because we evolve as humans, so I
Mhm.
feel like we go through a couple different soulmates in our lifetime.
Okay.
Because we do evolve, like
Yeah.
I said. But there is soulmate energy where it's almost like you've known each other
Yes.
from a past life. You've been in
Totally.
each other's lives, and it's
Mhm.
almost like that feeling of completion.
Totally. When I met my boyfriend, I remember being like, I know this person.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying like immediately I was like, I'm going to be his girlfriend. I was more like, I just know that we're going to be friends
Yeah.
because we just had that instant connection and like we just got along so easily.
Yeah.
And then it took us a couple months to figure out that it was romantic. So you think we have multiple soulmates in our lifetime? So does that mean like
Not like
I still
20
have
soulmates,
another one
yeah.
coming? Like what does
No,
that
no,
mean?
but
Yeah.
but that's where I said, like, that point of, like, completion where your heart
Mm.
just feels comfortable,
Yes.
you know?
Okay.
But then it goes back to what we were saying, as long as you're doing the work and
Yep.
vibrating at that certain radiating level.
Mhm. Mhm. When you did you say past life connection or did I just make that up?
No, I did say something like it feels like a past life
Do you
connection.
believe in reincarnation, past life connections?
I think reincarnation's crazy.
Yeah.
I get asked this question a lot, but I do
Yeah.
feel like it is real. I've never met anybody
Okay.
that has like you see on the news like a 2-year-old boy that starts talking about World War II and he's like, "My name is Jack and I jumped out of a plane and blah blah." And I'm like, "Where does he come at
Yeah,
that age?
that's
Where does,
crazy.
so
Yeah.
like I do feel like it does exist.
Do you feel like men are more emotionally available in the afterlife?
2 words, no ego.
Oh, interesting. So the ego stops people
A
from
lot.
being available.
The ego. What if this? What if that? I'm scared. A lot of men are scared. A
Yeah.
lot of men are scared to be vulnerable
Mhm.
because in some families they're raised to be like the tough one,
Yeah.
the independent, the caretaker. Like nothing can knock them down.
Well, it's not just family, it's, like, also, like, culturally
Yes.
conditioned from the day that they're born, like,
Mm-hmm.
boys don't cry, like,
Mm-hmm.
be tough, be the leader, where women have more room to kind of, like, share that emotionality, but also, I will say, because I'm a matchmaker and a dating coach, I have noticed that a lot of women are also emotionally unavailable. I feel like our
Nowadays,
our culture is changing
one
people.
girl, it's almost as if you were in my head a week ago because I
Yeah.
just had the same conversation with a friend of mine
Wow.
because it's dating from when I was in my early 20s.
Mhm.
I was saying, and it was before the dating apps and everything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, one of us would have a crush on Joe, and we would know Joe would go to this bar on Friday night, and
Mhm.
so me and my girls would get ready to go see Joe at the bar,
Right.
and that would be how people would get together.
And
And
you'd be giddy, ready
yes,
to like getting
exactly.
ready for Joe. Like
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. And I'm
Yes.
like, all right. And then there would be that like one girl in town that he would date, and you're like, oh well, forget Joe. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go with Bob or whatever, you
Yeah.
know? So but now people I'm sure you've talked a lot about ghosting and so forth, and not just
Mhm.
my kind of ghosting,
Yeah.
but ghosting
Yep.
because women are scared to get hurt.
Mm.
Bottom line.
Yep.
So now they're and men, it's almost like they don't know how to process their feelings in a lot of ways. So they'd rather just keep a very surface type of
Mhm.
relationship or a hookup culture where it's just like, okay, I just need to get my needs met for tonight and that's it. And I don't have to hold accountability
Yep.
of like calling this person all the time or wanting to take the initiative to see this person all the time, even though I really want to do that. But if I'm going to be vulnerable, I could get hurt and rejected, and that hurts. And so a
Yeah.
lot of people are afraid of feeling, so they repress their emotions all the
Mhm.
time and
Mhm.
just go on the surface level of dating and meeting people. So if you work on being accountable for yourself and you work on doing the healing work on yourself, like we
Mhm.
brought up before,
Yep.
you'll realize like it's okay to be vulnerable. The more vulnerable you are, it's easier to let someone in, but it's just really hard because in today's society, it's
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah.
I think there's a lot of power in vulnerability.
Hmm.
I also do feel like stop going for assholes. Like I think that if you keep going for one certain type of person, you're going to keep getting the same result.
Wait, are you reading me? No, I'm just kidding.
Am I? I'm like, hello, I'm actually channeling someone right now.
I know.
No, but like it's so true. And I see these people who are trying to rationalize like why this type of guy is not going for them and they're so upset about the culture. And it's like, okay, like control what you can control. And if
Right.
that guy is not reciprocating towards you,
Hmm.
try something else. Like, because
Right.
there are a lot of people out there who will give you the world, but you just have to walk away from the guys who won't.
Right, because
Yeah.
just like we said, decluttering the closet,
Yes.
if you're physically like cluttered with a guy
Mm-hmm.
that is emotionally unavailable or
Yep.
unattainable to you, then how are you going to get the right one that wants to give you that time and wants to treat you like the world?
Yeah, you need to stop blocking yourself energetically. And
Hmm.
so you also have to tell the universe, in my this is my opinion, but you also have to tell the universe, like, I'm done with this type of treatment and I'm only gonna accept that type of treatment.
Yes.
And that means cutting out the guy that you have amazing sex with, but he's awful to you when it comes
Right.
to 95% of the time that you spend together, or even when you're not together, he's, very flaky with communication. Like,
Hmm.
okay, great, next, like he's out. And
Hmm.
so I think if people would start being a little bit more savage and going for what's actually real and not just like the idealized
Yes.
version,
Yes.
then I think your everyone's dating life would be a lot less confusing.
Hmm.
Because by the way, like what you want is not somebody else's problem. Like
Exactly.
it's really not. Like
Hmm.
they can choose how they want to act. Everyone has free will, but then you have to act accordingly in the context of that person.
Right.
I'm really like passionate about this
No,
right
but I
now.
love that. Yes.
Yes.
Well, maybe I need to hear it.
Yeah,
So,
maybe. I love that.
and that's the thing. So when we talk energy,
Mhm.
a lot of times people will, or like you might hear something or see something, especially if you're confused about a relationship,
Mhm.
and you'll walk by someone and you'll hear part of their conversation. They're like, well, if he wanted to, he would. And you're like, oh, was
Oh
that for
shit.
me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe I needed to hear that.
Right.
One other question I had, what are people's biggest regrets in life? Like, because obviously you talk to people from the afterlife. Like, what are people regretting?
Relationships. That's the most
I
important
figured
thing.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the most, this is why like I love the fact that I'm here on your podcast and we're talking about love because it's so important and
Mhm.
people just don't get it, and I just want to say just get it,
I know.
like
Yeah.
I've been in situations where when people in spirit come through, they they'll talk about the relationships that they keep, or
Mhm.
the thing, this is what I wanted to say to you, but I just couldn't do it. I didn't know how to do it. And because of their fear and their ego
Mhm.
got in the way of them being able to communicate in a healthy way. and be vulnerable, because a lot of it is vulnerability is scary.
Mhm.
So a lot of them will talk about their relationships that they kept, memory lane. So that's one takeaway, guys, is whatever you do. Obviously, I know we have to work and we have, things that we need to do, but really
Mhm.
focus in on keeping like a healthy relationship with first and foremost yourself, but then also like with your friends, your family, your partners. It's all about relationships. Very rarely will I get someone who will say, "Oh, and I was a banker and I made a lot of money."
Yeah.
They don't. I
It's
mean,
the
there might.
relationships, it's the love.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, I know. And I feel like I was actually very closed off until I met my boyfriend. But I just really feel like I've fully put my heart on my sleeve and I'm not going to have any regrets in this relationship.
Right.
Whereas in the past, I feel like I was like very closed off, very
Mhm.
like, you know what I mean? Like a wounded little bird
Based on fear.
based on fear, which honestly, like you can't always help like what upbringing you had. You can't always help what past relationships you've had.
Right.
And so, like, those responses, they used to serve a function, but
Mhm.
like that's why you have to be so careful about the energy you surround yourself with because you want to be around healing energy,
Right.
not energy
Yeah.
that's going to reinforce this like negative concept around like relationships.
And the more evolved you become,
Mm-hmm.
the more aware you are with who's going to get that energy,
Yes.
So when you are, I've even noticed with certain friends, right? Like when I learn a life lesson, and then
Mm.
I'll go and hang out with a certain group of friends, and I'm like, oh, can I get home now?
Yeah. You're now
I
turned
can't,
off by that
yes,
energy. Yep.
yes. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, they're living in such a fear modality of
Mm.
like, oh, like I hate men or I hate this. And like, yes, every life is very frustrating, but
Yes.
we have to live in that abundance mindset. Like, I can't express that enough. Like,
Mm.
really live in, like, what you want is already yours. You have
Yeah.
to live in that abundant mindset.
I love that. I was gonna ask you, are
Yeah.
you I know you just got back from like channeling other people's
Yes.
relatives.
Yes.
Is anyone in the room with us? Like I'm just curious.
Yes. No. Okay. So I get a strong female energy that comes through for you first.
Okay. Ooh,
Okay.
okay, now we're in the channeling part. This is fun.
Yay.
Okay.
No, but I get a strong female energy that comes through for you. Does
Okay.
this make sense? Would this be your great grandmother or your grandmother?
Grandmother.
Your grandmother? Okay,
Mhm.
over on mom's side?
Yes.
Okay, because she's just saying, she's like, "Hello, pretty girl."
Um,
All right. Did you used to do dancing?
I did,
Okay,
yeah.
because she just shows me like you dancing and having your hair up in like a tight bun.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
She's just acknowledging that. And she just said, she goes, "I'm so proud of you," because especially it shows me the number 9 to be significant. So I feel like I want to say 9 years ago. So
Okay.
we're 2024. So what's that? 20,
I don't know. I'm not good at fast math.
2015? I know,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Okay.
2015, like right
Yeah.
around there. Think of where you were at in your life
Okay.
around
Yeah.
2015.
Yeah.
But, even talking to you now, I see that you're very evolved and you're very
Mm.
mature and
Yep.
you get it. So I feel like right around that time frame was when you kind of started this journey of
Okay,
really
that would make
understanding
sense.
yourself,
Yep,
right? And really like,
post-college.
yes, and
Yep.
like focusing in on your own personal independence,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
understanding like what your footprint was or is in this world.
That's so cool.
So she's acknowledging that, and she
Okay.
says, she's just saying, she goes, "I love you so much and you deserve
Oh,
it all." And she's also showing me the month of March to be significant.
okay.
So March could be a birthday, anniversary, maybe when someone's passed,
I
but
think when she passed, if I'm
okay.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Would that make sense?
Yep. And you have her ring, because she's talking about antique rings.
So I don't have any of her rings, but my mom does.
Okay.
Maybe she wants my mom to give me the
Well,
ring.
I was wondering, and I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised after this podcast if you
Yeah.
ask and you
Yeah.
just say, like, "Mom, were you thinking about giving me one of her rings?" I wouldn't be surprised. She says, "Yes."
Aw.
Okay. But she's also saying, like, you like that antique ring style too, like the
Mhm.
setting. There's
Yes.
something about it.
Yes.
She's also showing me, do you have naturally curly hair? Or did you used to curl your hair?
I used to curl my
You
hair.
used to curl your hair.
So she did as well.
Okay.
Like she had a perm.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you have a perm too? Or was it
Oh,
just the
yeah,
curl?
no, I
Okay.
did
Oh,
I went through a really awkward phase, like, I don't wanna talk about it.
I love it, but I
Yeah,
think, like, she's bringing me back to that memory because
okay.
she's just saying, like, "No, she loved my hair and I loved her hair." Like,
Know
she's
what's
just, like,
weird?
laughing.
I do have her hair.
You have her hair.
Yes, and
Oh my gosh.
she had thinner hair, which is why she got the perms and I got the perms, and so, like, I always, like, love hate because she never went gray. And so
Yes.
I'm never gonna go gray, but also I'm like, I wish I would have gotten the thick hair on,
The
like, on my dad's side,
Right,
but that's so
right.
funny.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so that's why she's bringing it up.
Yeah.
And do you remember her wearing red lipstick?
Yeah, she used to wear, like, red
Yeah,
lipstick.
because she's like, "Where's my blush or rouge?"
Yes, yes.
And, like, she just shows me you going through and they're like CoverGirl,
Yes.
like, and
Mhm.
you just going through, like, her matted makeup and, like, putting that powder press on your face,
Aw,
like, as as a little girl.
yes.
Um, and obviously, I know you have Archie, but
Yes.
there's another little dog that comes through for you too.
That's my first dog, Nelly.
Oh my
Wait,
gosh.
that's so crazy. I was so attached to that dog.
She has Nellie with her. You
No,
need to know that.
that's so
And because
cute.
she goes, "I got your message. I heard. And I'm taking care of her."
That's so
And,
sweet.
like, Nellie just puts her little paw did she have, like, a little white on her paw or, like, something
She
about
was, like, black and white.
black and white?
She was a little
Okay.
rat terrier.
Oh my
She was really
gosh.
cute. I like my
Yes.
little dogs.
I
Don't
get
get
me
jealous,
too.
Archie. Yeah.
I do
Wait,
too.
that's so special.
So Nell and it's so funny because Nellie's, like, trying to her back legs didn't work so much.
Yes, she did this weird thing with her back leg where she would, like, always, like, run with it bouncing up.
Oh my gosh.
It's so weird to talk about this,
It is
but, like, I have not thought of Nelly in, like, years.
well,
Obviously, she's close to my heart, but, like, you move
absolutely.
on, but
Yeah, but it's like she's your soul dog, and so she's jumping
yeah.
up, like, in that little crevice of where you are, that's where she has, like, her
Mm.
body, and she's just
Wait, that's so sweet.
but she's your soul dog. So wait a minute, let me ask then, because I said, like, 9
Mhm.
years ago was
Yep.
2015 or
Oh,
2016.
yeah, that's around the time
Was that when she
the
passed?
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that's actually crazy.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, so she's with you. Just know
Whoa.
that.
Wait, I can't believe my dog came through. Like, that actually makes me so happy. What's crazy is, like, I was thinking earlier today, I was like, who do you think will come through? And, like, in my head, I was like, I bet it's my grandma Lori on my mom's side.
Yep.
And, like, it's so crazy because I feel like her and I were like soul sisters. Like,
Yes.
she was just like goofy and silly, and so was I. And, like, we just got each other.
Yep.
And I loved all my grandparents. So I was like,
Yeah.
maybe others will come through, but that's really cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, yeah, and that's the thing, I always say the ones that come through are the ones that you need to hear from pertaining to what's going on currently in your life,
That's so
and
interesting.
where you have this brand new relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
is it going on 2 years?
No, we've been together for 8 months, but
Oh,
it's like
wow,
it
yeah.
feels like 8 months going on, like, year 10.
I
Like, I
love
just
it.
feel like we've known each other forever.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, I feel like where he's showing you that unconditional love,
Mhm.
this is why Nellie's coming in so much, and this is why
Oh,
your grandmother's coming in because she's your grandmother's your number 1 cheerleader, and she's like, "Good job. Like,
aw,
you've been doing the work. You deserve this. You deserve this kind of love."
that's crazy.
I don't does he massage your feet?
No, but he
Or
should.
okay.
He itches my back.
Okay.
But why? Well,
Well
actually wait, say more about the foot massage.
well, because I see him, like, picking your legs up and, like, giving you a little, like, foot and leg massage. Or
Okay.
was that something that just recently happened?
No, but, like, my grandma and I used to do, like, foot massages,
Oh my
and same with my
gosh.
mom, but
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why she's saying it. She's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"He should be massaging your feet."
No, what's crazy is, like, my mom used to always make my dad massage her feet, and so I'm like so
Oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
"Harrison, like, you need to learn how to do this."
Yes!
But he's funny, like, he will, don't worry, like,
How amazing is this,
but,
though?
I mean, it's so crazy, like, foot massages were, like, definitely something it's making my family sound weird,
No.
but, like, you know what I
My
mean? Like, when
family
you just
really
rub
likes
each other's
feet.
feet yeah, we have a foot fetish.
Yeah.
No, we don't, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
Oh
crazy.
my gosh. So that's why she's saying it. Like, you just gotta get him to give you a foot massage and you'll be great.
No, that's crazy. Okay.
Yeah. How
Wow,
amazing is
that's
that?
really cool. I mean, for me, like, I'm spiritual, but it's, like, very interesting to feel like, okay, they're there, they're communicating.
Right.
It feels, like, very surreal.
Right.
Like, I feel a little like I'm shocked right now.
Well, when you get a reading too,
Mhm.
sometimes it takes like 24 hours, 48
Mm.
hours for everything to process.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. So some of the things, if you're like, oh, I'm not sure,
Mhm.
I always say, put it in your back pocket. I wouldn't be surprised
And come back
it
to
ends
it.
up like coming back.
How do people like, if someone was like, "I'm so inspired by Tiff, like, I think I have this gift," like, how do they, like, look into becoming a medium? Like, do you train people?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
is it something that people can tap into
Mm-hmm.
more? Because even, like, I think from my perspective, I'm very afraid of the spiritual realm, so I'm, like,
Right.
not trying to become a medium myself,
Totally get it.
but I feel like I am intuitive to an extent and I'm like in touch with my body and like my
Mhm.
intuition, even
Yeah.
as a matchmaker. I feel like there's a certain level of like you're meeting two people and like you kind of get like a little intuition that they would get along.
Yeah.
Um but is there a way for people to like pursue this path, or is it more like you are born with this gift? Like how does it work?
So we're all intuitive to a certain degree, just some of
Mhm.
us are tuned in differently.
Okay.
Okay, but I do teach honing into your intuition workshops, and I
Okay.
can do that through Zoom. So,
Okay. So you can teach people how to like
yeah,
get in touch.
yeah, it's just
Okay.
like think about going to the gym and you want to work out and you want to have a strong body,
Mm.
like the first couple times you might you're going to start going to the gym, your muscles are going to shake, your body it's kind of like a shock to your
Yep.
system, but then when you continue to just exercise those muscles, you're just going to get stronger and you're going to feel better. So it's like using this type of like your intuition,
Mhm.
you might not trust yourself, but when you continue to like just try, just do,
Yep.
you know, then you'll start to become more confident to go with those gut feelings and let go with
Mm.
the ego self.
Do you feel like people ever have like a backwards intuition? When I say that, I mean, when people are so used to one thing,
Hmm.
like for example, they're used to being treated in a really like avoidant way, or they're used to just like a bad, like they've only had negative relationship dynamics. And then all of a sudden there's somebody who's like securely attached and is like doing all the right things. Do you feel like their gut may lead them astray because they're not used to it, so then they may perceive it as a negative thing? Does that make
Yes,
sense?
because it's based on fear.
Okay, okay.
Fear and love. Those are the two things.
So if your intuition is based in love, then it will guide you correctly, but if it's based in fear, that's when you don't know if you can trust it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That actually makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, how can people work with you? Like, I feel like there's multiple ways. Like,
Yeah.
what is the best way to get in touch with you? Like, I want you to plug yourself fully. It's
Okay.
really cool that you have this gift, and I appreciate you coming on and sharing it with everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, the only way to book a reading, because I am on social media,
Mm.
but I have so many imposters, people trying to be me. I don't
Mm.
know why,
I
but
mean,
so
you're cool.
I'm going. Who
You're the
wouldn't
full
want to be me? Yeah.
package. Yeah.
But the only way
Yeah.
to connect with me is going right to my website, tiffanyrice.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then on TikTok and Instagram, I'm Spirit Tiff. On YouTube, I'm Spirit Tiff.
Okay.
My podcast is We Are Never Truly Alone, which is available on Apple and Spotify.
What do you talk about on your podcast? Is it like
Everyday life with a
everything?
little bit
Okay.
of spirituality.
Okay. That's really cool.
It's just kind I have all different types of guests on. So I actually had my friend Jess on that talks about birth charts and astrology, and
Okay.
so you would probably love that episode.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find it and listen
Right?
to
And I have
it.
some
Yeah,
people
it's
that talk
really
about
cool.
crystals, and then I have a trauma therapist that's on, and
Mm,
um for Halloween, I have my good friends Cody and Satori. They're
okay.
known as the paranormal couple, and they do a form of physical mediumship, so
Oh my
and things like
god.
that. And they have a haunted museum. So I really have
So
all different
crazy.
types of guests on,
Okay.
um, and we do touch upon like spirituality as far as like how spirituality plays a huge part in your everyday life, everyday living.
Thank you for your time
Yes, thank
today.
you
I
so
loved this
much.
episode and definitely go follow Tiff. And then do you plug your social media?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Spirit Tiff.
Okay.
Spirit
Spirit
Tiff.
Tiff.
Yeah,
Okay,
Spirit Tiff,
perfect.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're Never Truly Alone is my podcast. TiffanyRice.com is how you can get in touch with me.
Perfect.
And I have to tell you, I will never DM you. A lot of people,
Okay.
because that's what I have a lot of fake accounts where people will DM.
So no DMing, just
No
email.
DM.
Okay.
Go right to my website to
Yep.
book a reading. So,
That's amazing. Thank
yes.
you, Tiff.
You're welcome. Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye.
Bye.